good morning. Happy Monday, all empathic, sensitive souls. How's everyone doing today? It is Monday. Are we awake yet? I'm not so sure that I am. It was a very long weekend, and long in the terms that I had a head cold and I was not feeling the greatest. I was all snuffy. I was coughing. My ribs even hurt from coughing so much. Who knew I had muscles there? At any rate, it was a peaceful, relaxing weekend. I hope everyone had a happy Mother's Day, all the mothers, including fur baby mothers. I hope that you all had a very relaxing weekend too. Last week we had that Talisman card, and it was a lesson truly learned is crystallized as earned wisdom. You have all you need for the success you seek. How did that work out for you last week? Lessons learned is wisdom. Lessons learned, is wisdom earned. There I'm trying to correct my own grammar, and I'm not the grammar police, so I have a hard time with that. So today we're going to draw another card, and we're going to see what we have ongoing for this week. Hopefully it will be a peaceful, quiet, smooth transition into warmer weather. Our temps are going up a little bit. We're going to be in the mid-60s, sunshine. They were calling for rain, but I don't know where the rain's at in the forecast now, because it changes every time I look. My niece asked me last night, "Oh, what's the weather Monday?" I said, "Well, I don't know. We're supposed to get into rain on Tuesday." She goes, "No, we're not." I just looked like 10 minutes ago. Who knows? Maybe that's the job I should have had, right? Could have been wrong the majority of the time, and I still would have came out on top. Ooh, the card that popped out this morning is education. What are we educating ourselves with on this week? We shall see. Life is filled with lessons. Be teachable. Stubbornness and the desire to know it all and be right no matter what will not get you what you want. Or it could be that you're afraid to be seen as someone who knows less than you're supposed to. Could you be flying through life by the seat of your pants, hoping no one will notice you're skimming the surface of things? Life is filled with lessons, some bitter, some sweet. A strident lust for certainty will never bring you the wisdom you seek. Pretending to know more than you do won't make you wise. Be assured that not knowing is a magical place to be. All manners of mysteries are revealed. Be open. It's okay not to know. My niece and I were just talking about this the other day. The kids would get upset when they felt like they didn't know something at school and were made fun of. But my question is, if you knew everything, then why are you in school? We're in school to learn because we don't know. And life's the same way. At work, it's the same way for me. My boss comes in and asks me, "Well, what does your coworker know that you don't know?" I think you'd have to ask her. She's my lead. She would know what I'm capable of and not capable of, right? So I don't know how to do some of the programming stuff. Am I teachable? Yes. Can I learn? Yes. Will somebody teach me? That's the question. There's all sorts of stuff that I don't know, and I'll admit I don't know. And it's always funny when I am so sure that I know the correct answer, and I have to prove to you I know the correct answer. I'm never right. Imagine that. But if I know the correct answer, and I'm like, "Well, this is what I think it is, but you figure it out, and you let me know," then chances are I'm usually right. I'm not being condescending with my knowledge. I don't necessarily have to know everything. Sometimes it comes in handy to know bits apart stuff, like a jack of all trade but a master of none. I know little bits about all sorts of stuff. But I'm always curious, and I always want to learn, and I always want to know. Now, do I retain it in my brain? Not necessarily. Sometimes it gets sidetracked, or it gets in that rusty file cabinet that I can't unlock anymore. Stubbornness and the desire to know it all and be right, no matter what, will never get you what you want. My sister is like that in the fact that she always has to be right. and she will stand on that hill with her flag raised and her saber in the other hand and tell you she's right. And chances are, for the most part, she's usually right. But you don't have to go stand on the hill. You don't have to fight to the death to prove you're right. Sometimes people need to learn a lesson, need to learn how to figure the answer for themselves. They don't have to be told constantly what's right or wrong. Now, there are teachable moments, especially with kids. You want to teach them about how to talk to people, or the appropriate or correct things to say or not to say. A friend of mine has an autistic son, and he first met me and he looks at me and goes, "You're fat." "Why, yes, I am. Thank you for noticing." And she died of embarrassment. And I'm like, but he said what he saw, and I can't be mad at him for stating the obvious, but it's a teachable moment for him. "Honey, we don't say stuff like that to people." "But she is, and I am." But for him, he couldn't equate how that would be rude, because it's like stating, "My gosh, you're tall. Holy buckets, your hair is orange," whatever the case may be. So when you're autistic, learning those social cues and norms is difficult. But we can apply that to all scenarios, right? It's difficult for some people to learn math or how to spell words correctly. I'm dyslexic. And instead of berating and belittling others who know less than you, we try to help. Where in your life do you need to step down as a right fighter? And I'm not saying that a right fighter is a bad thing, because there is a need for right fighters, because we have to fight for things. But within your own life, your own circle, your own sphere, that you don't have to know everything. If somebody comes to you for advice, you don't have to get on that high horse and look down at them for knowing less than you do. And that's the way my sister always treated me, that I knew less. Well, I'm over 5 years younger than you. Wouldn't I know less? Wouldn't you have more knowledge, further along in school, have 5+ more years of learning experience in the world? That's a thought to think about. Life is filled with teachable lessons. Be teachable. There's so many lessons out there. I have to, at work, recommend to my boss whether we need another lead in the office, as mine is retiring, or if we just need another coworker. "Well, I can be your lead," he says, "when there's a lot of time. Are you going to have the time for me to constantly ask you questions?" Well, I may not constantly ask questions, but you know what I mean? If something needs to be done, are you going to be available to do everything on the fly? Because that's what we do. Somebody will come in off the floor, the production floor, and say, "Hey, I need this to go this way and this way and this way," and we have to change it on the fly. Are you going to have time to do that? So he needs to learn how to be educated and be open to learning a lesson, to be open to be teachable. And sometimes his brain moves so fast, he skips and jumps way ahead of where I'm at. I'm like left in the dust. It reminds me of those old Bugs Bunny cartoons where Bugs is 50 miles ahead and the turtle's coming up in the end. But we'll get there. Be teachable. Learn lessons. Help others. Not be afraid to be unknowledgeable as you are. Not be afraid to ask the questions. Because asking questions, I can guarantee there is someone else in the room who has the exact same question. They're just too afraid to ask. Be teachable. That is our card for the week. Post it in the group, post it in the comments, let me know how things are going. I hope that you have a fantastic week and learn some education. See where you're at, see where you're going, see who you can help, and see who can help you. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.